Hi. Hi. So I'm Roshan from Marlin. I'm a researcher there, and I'm here to talk about proof markets in general and like a little bit more about like Kalypso that we're building. So Kalypso basically is a circuit-agnostic confidential proof market. It lets you like outsource ZK-proof computation that today you might do on your own servers or on like on your own like users' devices to us. We can do it like much faster, much cheaper, much more efficient since it's like aggregated across all protocols and stuff like that, right? But this is not quite what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk more about why you should care about like proof markets in general, right? So let's dive right into it. Show of hands if you guys think like ZK Tech is magical. Yeah, cool. So ZK Tech basically lets you like cryptographically prove any arbitrary computation that you might have, right? And as it turns out, this is like an incredibly like powerful primitive, especially in the blockchain space where you have like thousands of nodes verifying what you're actually doing and probably just one guy who's doing the actual computation, right? So it gives you this sort of leverage where you can sort of offload computation onto one prover who might do like orders of magnitude more computation, but that basically leads to like the verifiers having to do like much less work, right? And like this applies to all sorts of applications that you might see in the blockchain space, like rollups, bridges, oracles, like payment apps like ZK Money and stuff. And like slowly we are seeing the rise of like AI, ZKML, and all this stuff as well, right? But in my opinion, ZK Tech today doesn't really have a good UX, right? And it's mainly because of this, which is like proof generation takes way too long. That's because like ZK Tech involves heavy compute operations, like primarily are like MSMs and FFTs. And it turns out to be like computationally intensive for even like relatively small circuits. Like it's usually like orders of magnitude slower than doing the actual compute itself, right? And given that time is money, more compute time invariably means that proof generation is like incredibly expensive today, right? So here's a few numbers. It's a little old, but on the left side you have like SHA-384. That's usually used in like TLS certificates and stuff like that. On like the zero VM, it took like around 64 seconds on my laptop. On the right side you have like payment transactions, something that you would see in, let's say in like ZK Money or ZK Bob or like stablecoin apps like that, right? On my laptop it takes like around 60 seconds, single-threaded. And if I do it like multi-threaded, it goes down to about like 15 seconds. Which doesn't seem that bad, right? I mean, it's not great, but it's possible, right? But it gets worse. It's like significantly worse in browsers, and it's especially important because this is sort of like the most popular like dApp platform today, right? People use it through websites, and the problem there ends up being like you need to execute your ZK provers inside like a JS or a Wasm sandbox. And that means you don't really get to optimize it a lot. Like you don't get access to like intrinsics that let you do like SIMD and stuff like that, right? But it gets even worse. So some numbers for the browsers. You have like 15 seconds that it used to take on my laptop. It now takes like around half a minute to a minute in a browser, right? It's even worse on like mobile devices, which is like arguably the most like important application platform today. And like the market share is only going up every year, right? The main problem here ends up being like the hardware is pretty limited, and you also have like limited battery capacity. It doesn't matter how optimized your provers are. Engineers at Apple and Google make sure your provers aren't going to run that fast because they don't want that to happen, right? And so what was like half a minute to a minute on my laptop ends up being something closer to like 1 to 4 minutes to make a payment transaction, which is kind of ridiculous, right? So, okay, I know what you might all be thinking. Just optimize. You're a dev. You know, why come complain to us? Just optimize, right? Not that simple. For one, software optimization takes a lot of resources. It's very different from the usual software dev job that you have, which means it's like a very different skill set, hard to find people and all that. And like, in my opinion, not every project should even try to do all that. They shouldn't really need to have a ZK team, right? Okay, fine. Let's say you do get a ZK team. It turns out that it's really hard to optimize on common hardware regardless of what you do, right? You usually end up needing like something like GPUs or FPGAs to have good performance. And like developing specialized hardware, for example, ASICs and stuff, are like incredibly risky and expensive, right? So even if you do end up doing all that, at the end of the day, you can't rely on your users having any of that, right? You can just rely on users having like normal laptops and CPUs and all that stuff. So let's come into the real world a bit and look at like how optimization actually works in the real world, right? It usually starts slow. You have some users that are like using your applications, and that basically gives you some demand for like getting faster proofs and a better user experience, right? Given the demand, you hopefully have a bigger target market that your ecosystem can serve with like higher revenues and profits. And that means your ecosystem can basically now justify investing resources into like software optimizations and maybe even like specialized hardware and all that stuff. So hopefully all these investments pay off. You get faster proof generation, and this faster proof generation now gives you like even better UX that makes more users use your applications, more demand, better improvements in hardware, all that, yada, yada, yada. So this is basically like an important flywheel to get spinning in the real world if you actually want to like optimize for your use cases, right? And it's not just theoretical. It worked for Bitcoin, so why can't it work for us, right? Like Bitcoin started with CPU mining, which is extremely slow. It slowly moved on to GPU mining. And we had a brief period in between FPGAs, and like ASICs rule the mining space today, right? And that's because like ASICs are orders of magnitude like cheaper and more efficient today than like CPUs that you would get, right? But this sort of stuff didn't happen in a vacuum. It had to be gradual, and like basically it took time and like intermediate steps to get to ASICs. So, okay, it's fine. Users don't have like powerful hardware. Why not just make projects run their own hardware, right? Maybe projects run servers and stuff like that. That's not as easy either, because I mean you need precious capital to invest into your servers. You have to sort of like over provision in case like you get a burst of users and all that stuff. You have to manage utilization of your hardware, scaling up and down. You can't really use it 100%, which means you sort of have to like pay for idle resources. And you have to like monitor your hardware, maintain uptime for your users and all that stuff, right? If this sounds familiar, this is basically the reason why nobody pretty much runs their own servers today for like backends and stuff, right? Like cloud services are popular for a good reason, which is that nobody really wants to do any of this, right? So, which brings me to why you should care about like outsourcing proofs, right? And it's basically just these main 4 takeaways that I want you to have. It's that you get much faster and cheaper proof generation because of like better hardware, more powerful hardware, as well as the fact that it's basically aggregated across all applications. So you get like much better utilization and efficiency and all of that. And it gets your optimization flywheel spinning for your specific project as well as like for the ecosystem in general, right? It's much more efficient since like the same compute resources can sort of multiplex between different applications and serve them. And it like puts you on a path towards like decentralization like right from the beginning, right? So, which brings us to what we are building with Kalypso. It's a confidential proof market. On one side, you basically have applications that like require ZK proofs to be generated, like payment apps, games, rollups, oracles, all those guys. On the other side, you have like hardware operators who are ready to like provide the compute resources, so like GPUs, FPGAs, even like powerful servers and stuff like that. So you basically get like a lot better resource efficiency. The network is like secured by stake, so if you don't get proofs back, you can sort of slash them and all that. And like usually much faster and cheaper than like trying to do it yourself. So something that's a little unique to what we are building and like what our partners are demanding is privacy, right? That's a really important component of like zero knowledge proof generation. So we basically use like secure enclaves to provide confidentiality and like isolation. So like it's hardware level isolation, and it ensures that even like the host can't really read what you're brewing and all that stuff. It's like pretty popularly available, like built into most CPUs, and like most cloud providers offer it under the confidential computing thing as well. Like NVIDIA recently launched the H100 GPU that has confidential compute as well, so excited to expand there. And yeah, you can sort of like encrypt all of your storage and network as well, so people don't get to see like what inputs are coming in and going out and all that stuff. And it's circuit-agnostic, which means like the protocol itself like operates on independent abstractions. It can like support any sort of ZK circuit and ZK VM, and like it's really easy to add like new stuff that's coming on as well. Something that we're really excited about is like common developer tooling that it's somewhat unified across all the ZK circuits and VMs and stuff that you see. Like especially if it like lets you compare across the ZK circuits and VMs and sort of select the ZK tech that best match your use case, right? So this is the main takeaway that you want you to have. It's that if you're currently generating ZK proofs yourself in your servers or like even worse, your users' devices, like think about outsourcing it to a proof market. You'll get like better user experience and all of that. And if you're building something cool, Kalypso is currently in beta. I'd be happy to like give you access and credits and stuff to get you guys started. So yeah, that's about it from me. You can find us on our socials or like feel free to hit me up at the event outside. So yeah, thank you.